Bobby Compton, Commissioner for the town of Mooresville.
I am Maurice Easter.
My name is Trayshawn Robertson.
Go ahead, y'all got questions?
What is your job position?
My job position, I'm currently retired. I retired from my occupation that I did, and I'm a commissioner for the town, and that's all I'm doing is just giving my service to the town of Mooresville and to the citizens.
How old are you?
I am 55 years old.
I've been seeing some street construction and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is it all about?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of sidewalk and curb and gutter. There's still a lot of streets in Mooresville that you just have your asphalt street, and then there's side ditches or just goes up in somebody's yard. There's no sidewalks. We're trying to make this community, we're trying to make Mooresville sidewalk friendly and biker friendly for anybody who likes to ride bicycles. So we're adding some streets with bike lanes, and then adding streets with sidewalks and putting curb and gutter, because we have downpours like these thunderstorms we're having. The water doesn't have a place to go and it floods the street easy. So if we have curbing there, then that channels the water down to the storm drains, and it goes from there. So the town's been working hard on that for the last several years, I think. But because that's an expensive project, they have to do just a little bit at a time. They can't do it all at one time. It's just pretty intense. They have to contract out the work to be done, and with a company that does that kind of thing, putting in storm drain pipe and digging things up. So it's a pretty long process. So they try to do a couple blocks at a time, a couple streets at a time, wherever the needs are.
How many houses did you put out as a fire?
You know, that's interesting. You know, I never kept count. I wish I did, because I was at the fire department just over 30 years, retiring in 2005. And I started out the first 13 years of my career, I was a firefighter, so I rode the fire truck. And back in those days, we hung on the tailboard of the fire truck. When the fire truck pulled the fire department, there were 3 or 4 of us hanging on the back of that truck on the tailboard. We had to hang on because you hit a bump in the road, you know, it almost would throw you off. So you can't do that now. And then the trucks nowadays, all the firemen hop in as a 4-door truck and get in the cab. But the first 13 years I was actually a firefighter, so and working every 3rd day, it was a lot of calls we went on. But back then, Mooresville was a lot smaller. We didn't have the area to cover like the firemen do now. Mooresville's really grown. When I went to work there, population was just over 8,000, and now it's over 32,000. So that's how much it's grown the time I was at the fire department since I've been retired. So the first 13 years I was a firefighter, and then the last part of my career, the last 17 or 18 years, I was the fire marshal, where I didn't have to physically go out and put out fires. There were other duties involved being a fire marshal versus firefighter. So I wish I had a number for you, but I don't, and I'm sorry. And that was a long time ago, and I can't remember every call went on.
How do you feel about Juneteenth?
You know, I went this last month for the first time. I've known about it forever. I remember studying about it in school. I've known about it forever. And then Mr. and Mrs. Billy Black, who helped put this thing on and sponsor it, have been friends of mine since we were in junior high school, you know, a long time ago. And so they're just good friends of mine. They're good for the community. They get this thing up and going. And I hope it's gotten bigger and bigger every year. But again, because I'm now a commissioner and more involved with the town than I used to be, that I went to that last month, and I had a really great time. Seeing everybody, seeing people I haven't seen in a long time, seeing friends and neighbors that I see on a regular basis show up. Best thing about it, the food was good. There was a lot of grilling out going on, some chicken and hamburgers and hot dogs and food. Anybody knows me, you ask about me and food, and I enjoyed eating. So the food was really good. But we had a really good time. There was a lot of good activities there, and I got to see a lot of friends. So, but again, it's the historical part of it. And I remember reading about that, studying about that a long time ago. And it goes all the way back to the Civil War days back in the 1860s when this happened, when the proclamation occurred. So there's a lot of history involved with that. And they come up and call it Juneteenth because of about the time of the year I think that it happened back well over 100 years ago.
How do you feel about Mooresville having laptops?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, I think Mooresville has always been top notch when it comes to education. Even, I mean, when we were all in school, I thought, you know, our education, our facilities, our teachers, administration was excellent, and they have continued to improve on that. And so for Mooresville to be on the cutting edge of technology with computers, and I think there's a lot of other communities around, other school systems around that look at us with jealousy, thinking, wow, how does Mooresville get to do that? We're very fortunate. We have Lowe's, the headquarters for Lowe's Home Improvement here in Mooresville, who helped jumpstart this program. And the school system is really great to work with. We have a lot of corporate partners within the town of Mooresville, and it's just a great learning tool. And we can just go nowhere up with that. I mean, it's just everybody's going to be smarter in the long run at the end of this. I think it's a great tool.
How do you prepare for like the future, like how education and technology advances?
Wow, man, your questions are getting hard. I mean, you know, that takes a lot of collaboration with what I'm doing now with the Board of Commissioners for the town of Mooresville. It takes a lot of collaboration with the Mooresville School Board, and we have to adjust all that with the growth of the town, and the growth of the school system, and the growth of our schools, and the growth of town government and the services that we provide. So that's really tough. It takes a lot of people to come together to make that happen. And it's just some of those I mentioned, everywhere from downtown business owners, property owners, our citizens, students such as yourself, town government, so that's where I fit in, town employees such as folks here at the library, and just trickles on down to, like I say, school system and other partners here in Mooresville.
With the fire department, do they got the slide down pole?
We don't. All our fire stations here do not have an upstairs. It's all one level. So wherever they are, whether it's at night you're sleeping or they're in a training room, they just have to run down a hallway and out a door. However, Mooresville occupies space at the Shepherd's Volunteer Fire Department. And Mooresville calls that Station 4. There's 4 fire stations, and the 5th one's been approved to be built. And it should be built by sometime in 2013. But Fire Station 4, which is the Shepherd's Volunteer Fire Department, they do have an upstairs and they do have a pole. However, I had already retired before they occupied that building, so I never got to slide down that pole.
How do you feel about the popping up parks? Like, I see it's new parks.
Yeah, through the Recreation Department.
Yes.
Yeah, that's something. We do citizen surveys. We go around the community and just see what do the citizens of this town want? What do they need? And every kid in this town has played soccer or baseball as they were growing up. They still do. So we saw the need for recreation facilities. We saw the needs for ball fields, whether it's soccer or baseball, softball, any of that. And I think lacrosse. I think that's an up-and-coming sport,
yeah.
lacrosse. So we're looking at a place in one of our parks for a lacrosse field. So yeah, I think it's been wonderful. And the town passed a bond several years ago for money to build these latest 2 parks we got out in Mazeppa and on Cornelius Road. And they're beautiful parks. And with the Visitors and Convention Bureau, there have been a lot of out-of-town people come here to use our facilities because they have soccer tournaments on a regular basis. There's a softball team that travels from Mooresville and other places that come here and play. So I think that's great for our community. In some cases, some complaints I'm hearing are that they're too far out. You can't easily get to them by walking or by bicycle. You always have to get in your car and get somebody to take you out there. That's the downside to it. But for the number of acres that we have, and we're talking just hundreds of acres of total parks, that we had to move out in the country, so to speak, move just outside of town to find enough property to have all these fields that we have. So eventually, as the town grows, it'll go around these parks, and someday it won't be as far of a ride as it is right now.
Yeah.
What's your favorite team in college basketball?
You're asking that because of the shirt I'm wearing. It's the University of North Carolina Tar Heels, and I'll tell you why. Growing up, and I was a kid and I was trying to learn how to play basketball. That's back when Duke was getting really good and North Carolina was already good. They had a good coach, Dean Smith. And then my brother-in-law, I wasn't my brother-in-law then, but he went to Carolina, and he was really good at basketball, and he knew Coach Dean Smith. So I got heard him talk about things and then how it went. And then my daughter went there. I have two nieces that went there, and one of those nieces has a very important job at the university. So there's just a lot of family interaction. A lot of my family, some of my family went there, and so it was just a lot of closeness. So thus I come about with all these shirts with the light blue NC on it.
What is your proposition on the Habitat homes?
I live near Habitat communities, and they have great houses. I mean, well built. A lot of hard work goes into it. To me, I've never participated in building one, but it's amazing how fast they build those houses. And they come in there and they put those things together. They're nice looking places, and to get the building inspector to come and inspect as it's going up and just everything that takes shape with that. The way it starts out, just a piece of ground, and then next thing you know, there's a house on there and people are moving in. What a great feeling. That's just got to be wonderful. I just feel so happy for the people that get to occupy that. It's great. It's a wonderful project.
How long do you think it would take people to finish a whole street with the sidewalks and the gutters?
The one I just now came by because I wanted to look at it, and I ride by it daily just to check progress, is on East McClellan, down near the park down there. Yeah. I ride by there every day because I live just right up the street. And I just drive by thinking, holy cow, when they ever get through with that? Because they haven't worked on it in quite some time. They got the sidewalk there, got the curb there. They have to go in and put that final layer of asphalt down. And they're right there from Cabarrus Avenue all the way up to just past where the park is, near Sharp Street.
Yeah, we've been watching the construction down
Yeah,
there.
and it's been very interesting, but if you notice, there's nobody been there, so I'm kind of wondering about that. So I was going to ask somebody at Town Hall that's in the engineering department or something about what's taking so long with this project or what's going on. I can understand weekends or if a holiday comes up or something, but I'm wondering, why don't they go ahead and finish that? And then something that has me concerned too is when we do projects like that, and we did another one on Oak Street that was the same way, another one on East McNeely, the same thing, what we're talking about. Have you noticed how narrow the street got?
Yes, sir.
It used to be wider, all the way from the asphalt and all the way to the ditches on the side. And they put the curb and sidewalk in, and it really narrowed up. I'm concerned about that because a lot of school buses use that street when school is in session.
I was asking my grandfather about that. I was wondering, I was like, they gonna widen up the street when they pave over it? Because right now it looked about where only one car can fit.
It almost looks that way, so they'll have to keep people from parking on the side of the road. You know, people just park on the side and go in their houses or come and visit. They're going to put up signs that they have to. It says no parking or something. Because if they do, then it's just a one-lane road. And if you've got people parking on both sides, you can't get by. And like I say, our school buses travel that all the time during school, and I'm worried about fire trucks trying to get by. So that's really got me concerned. So I think in the future, I'm going to take a close eye at that, about the narrowing of the street. I don't like that. But in talking with someone earlier on, before this project ever started, it's like 11 feet is needed from the curb to the center of the road, and then from the center of the road to the other curb.
Yes, sir.
Should be about 11 feet, and so that's probably what that is over there, and that's legal, and that's what they make them as. But I think we can widen things out a little bit in the future when we start tackling these curb and gutter and sidewalk projects. Yeah, that's a good point that you're already aware of that as young as you are, because when you start driving, you have to be careful on streets like that. And be sure to give the right of way if somebody's coming the other way. I'm really worried about school buses this coming school year on that narrow street.
Do you think they will bring in another Habitat houses?
Oh yeah, oh definitely. That project will never end. The only thing about it is finding land to build on.
Yes,
That's
sir.
the only thing. Because I know, like I say, Sharp and over there off of East McClellan and some other areas where they have built some. Once they build them, use up all those lots, they can't expand. So they have to find other areas to build. But oh my gosh, that's such a wonderful program. I don't see it ever ending. It's just finding the land, get somebody to donate land. And it may come to a point where It's just a piece of land here, a piece of land there, not building several houses there in one neighborhood, maybe just kind of here and there. I don't know. I'm just assuming that until they find a plan for it.
It helps your community.
Yes, it does, absolutely.
Oh, it is. I lost track of myself. What about like, I know it's land across from, like, across from the park in East McLean.
Mhm.
Y'all recently put like pipes and stuff down there.
Mhm.
It's not looking too good.
Okay, let's back up when you say y'all did that. Okay, that was done. That was done a few years back, and that was because the federal government came in and did
Oh,
that.
yes, sir.
The town didn't do that. Ultimately, the town is responsible. I know that used to be a pretty nice park down there, and a lot of good basketball goals down there. You know, good nice little basketball court, and even they had a volleyball, singing and volleyball court in there one time. But yeah, the federal government came in and did that because of that creek that flows through there,
Yes,
and
sir.
there are flooding issues, and it's like a little flood area. So that's, but the federal government came in, and that's before I got on the board of commissioners. I really don't know the reason why, other than it was just a low area, and that creek would have flooding problems, and I think they try to mitigate some kind of hazard through there. And you know, they did a lot of work behind the house on East McClellan when the creek runs under the
Oh,
street.
yes, sir.
Those houses there, they fixed it, so I think where the creek does not come up and flood those backyards anymore. Used to flood those pretty good.
Yeah, they
Now
did.
it don't. So that's part of that project.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
just,
glad they fixed
yeah,
it.
it's just trying to keep down the erosion, the flooding problem that was in that whole entire low area from behind the cemetery all the way to the end of East McClellan Avenue. So it has something to do with that. And again, it's the flooding issue I think's been taken care of there. But I know you lost a nice park, but which is why it was built across the road. You enjoyed your basketball court and a nice fence put up there. And I'm not sure, probably don't have as many basketball goals as you once had. But I'm not sure if all of them are full or being used now. I don't know.
Oh,
So
yeah. Reuse it.
It'll take time. We'll still improve all the parks in town. We talked about Mazeppa Road Park, talked about Cornelius Road Park where the soccer tournaments take place and how big they are. But we still have Willow Valley Park, Liberty Park, and we're working on Lee Street Park to fix that shelter over there. And then Academy Street Park may turn into a dog park. We have a lot of citizens with pets that want a place to take their dog and let them run around with other dogs and just get them out of the house or out of the yard. So we're gradually improving. Can't do it all at one time. So we're gradually improving each little park like that. But Willow Valley Park is nice, it's shady, and in your picnic shelter area, you have the largest shelter of any park in town. There's none any larger. But as many people that use that, we could probably stand to add on to it just a little bit. Like I said, we're going to redo Lee Street, totally to redo that. I think we're taking bids now to have it rebuilt and reconstructed, added on to it or something. And Liberty doesn't have much one at all. There's a lot of shade there with Liberty Park. So there's still a lot of work to be done at our parks for the community.
What are the levels in town hall?
The levels.
Like, it's like the commissioner and then the people that.
Well, actually, that's just the heart of the town government. That's where, even though there's a lot of other town buildings, city-owned buildings around town that city services come out of, it originates from town hall. That's just the kind of the brain of town government. That's where everything takes place. And the town manager is he'll be over all that, and then the employees are under that. And the commissioners, like myself, that's where we have our meetings. So we'll go there for our meetings, or we might go there to have to talk to someone. We have our board meetings at town hall. But there's a lot of services that come out of town hall, a lot of employees there, a lot of important things happen at town hall. So any questions or anything regarding town government or Mooresville, you can always call town hall or just make a visit up there and just ask the receptionist, and they can lead you in the right direction.
How exactly hard did you have to work to get to your position?
Very hard, very hard. It was an easy transition, but I had to work hard to get there. Because of my 30 plus years with the town, I knew already something about town government, about the town of Mooresville. So once I decided to run for commissioner, then I had to go around and, get my signs made, put my signs up around town. I had to go around, knock on a few doors, shake a few hands, meet some people, tell them who I was, people that didn't know me, and just ask could they vote for me. And I would tell them if I became commissioner, I would work hard for them. I would be there for them. If they had a question or comment or problem, always call me, and I would try to help them with it. It's worked out so good. I think it's worked out so good so far. I haven't been there a year yet, so I'm still working on it.
When you first moved, when you was born in Mooresville, what was the first thing that you did when you got older?
Man,
Did you play any sports?
I just rec league, rec ball, rec basketball at the Memorial. I did that. My uncle coached the baseball team. And my brother and cousins played baseball. I played basketball and football. Played Major League football. Tim Pond was the team back then. It's the team I played. I was a fullback. But that's pretty much all they offered back then. Yeah, it's a long time ago, and we're talking 40 plus years ago, and they didn't offer as much as they do now. No such thing as computers. So we were outside playing all the time. I grew up over near Parkview School, and so that was our place. We went over and we played ball, get some friends together and play. So there was a lot of activity going on. It was a short walk downtown to the movie theater, and or shopping or something like that, or getting something to eat.